We're the mystery animal who's been spotted a few times, and whatever it is, the woman who lives here.
A woman finds a creature but has no idea what this thing is.
Several ATV riders say they've seen unusual looking creatures in the distance.
And a strange sighting is baffling. This creature was caught on camera at a North Side neighborhood.
In a crowded urban environment or a sparsely rural one. Many things that are not only enigmatic and incomprehensible, but also horrifyingly horrible emerge in the night, serving as evidence that it is never a smart idea to venture into the woods by yourself. Glance at some of the most unusual species that, if they hadn't been captured on camera, no one would have believed. A group of teenagers were enjoying a private party in a remote cabin when they spotted something that fit the description of a wendigo that appeared to be isolated and showed little to no response from the flashlights pointing in its direction. Despite the sudden flashing of lights, this wendigo did not show any aggressive attitude until it was provoked. Teenagers' insatiable curiosity led one of them to chuck a stone at it, and it nearly instantly reacted by pursuing them. After all, tampering with something you don't comprehend in the dark would undoubtedly cause a next-level adrenaline rush. Extraterrestrial animal that resembles a human. Call it a werewolf, an alien, or just a really strange animal. This humanoid animal was captured by Animal Control after several reports of break-ins were made close to the edge of Idaho, United States. The perpetrator was described as an animal with human-like body mechanics. If this creature's physical appearance alone makes it seem unsettling, one can only imagine the terror of it messing around. It is thought to have hunted several chicken coos during its feeding frenzy. Since the authorities are unable to determine the identity of this extraterrestrial humanoid, it is unknown whether it would be treated as an animal or, in the event that it were identified as a human. Twisted crawler call. A driver during a delivery encountered a crawler on the road that appeared to have a bear and a twisted chest at the same time. It had shiny eyes and was dressed in something white. Despite honking and flashing lights several times, it wouldn't move, forcing the driver, who was afraid of trouble, to turn around and look for an alternative route in the direction of. Getting up Dagon. E.T., regardless of whether you refer to it as an animal or a strange monster of the night, it's generally not a smart idea to approach it. A poultry farmer posted this video of an unidentifiable animal or beast that was lying on the grass, even though the area was fenced off. When the farmer went back to get his gun, he noticed that the creature had entered his grain storage barn. Although no one is sure how this ended, observers thought the footage from the barn strongly resembled that of a demon. Is supposed to be the corporeal embodiment of the devil. Bigfoot was caught. It appears that after decades of looking and only seeing a shadow of these giants, someone has at last discovered Bigfoot and successfully captured Ed. It appears to be a hopeless case. Details about who captured it or how remain unclear, and it's certainly not as interesting as why it was kept from the outside world. After all, imagine having to see a Bigfoot in a zoo. That would mean going to war with a Bigfoot kind. This video, which was leaked by an anonymous source, shows a huge Bigfoot passing through with its face visible. Hours later, the same giant is seen locked in a huge cage. Crawlers all around. Unlike the majority of other crawlers, which were solitary and overly slow, these unfortunate ones were somewhat better planned and organized. The hunter was tracking animal activity in the forest by placing cameras all over it. However, after a few moments, he found himself being pursued by crawlers, who unintentionally flanked him into their trap. He discovered more than a dozen of them surrounding him, and one of them leaped at him. Even with an armament, the hunter would have been outnumbered. doomsday demon. If it had been up to me, I would have undoubtedly handled this sticky scenario with more prudence. The video went viral, and people began to compare the demon's appearance to a monster from the video game Doom. This added a virtual element of horror to the real-world mystery of an unexpected and otherworldly visitor in the Rio de Janeiro suburb. The resident of Rio de Janeiro shared the startling video of a massive demon materializing on his property in broad daylight. The recorder and his companions, drawn by curiosity, approached for a closer look, unwittingly falling into its trap. Brace for werewolves. Folks, this isn't your usual story around the campfire. In the deep woods, an incredible sight was caught on camera featuring an animal with all black fur and glowing eyes, a true werewolf, if you can believe that. It begins with a crawl and rapidly rises to a horrifying height, requiring a quick check to see whether the footage is authentic. Sparks a discussion on whether it was a simple light show or something much more terrifying. Beneath the bridge. Something equally eerie as having to cross a bridge in the middle of the night is this skinwalker. A man who was staying at a motel was out late that night for a smoke when he encountered it. Instead of pursuing him, the skinwalker chose to frighten him off with its growling, almost as if it didn't want to bother chasing him. A little frayed rata. A group of Bigfoot hunters exploring an Oregon forest came across this crippled little being that appeared to be stalking them from a distance. Using night vision cameras that were originally intended to capture Bigfoot sightings, they decided to record this mysterious figure from a few meters away from it. In addition to being recognized, it hasn't even been officially labeled yet, though many viewers and Reddit users have compared it to anything from a mummy to a possessed scarecrow. Skeleton of a sword hand. The idea of haunting spirits in graveyards is definitely redefined by something this terrifying. Gravediggers are perplexed by a mystery footstep, like Trail put a trail camera seeking explanation. The video, to everyone's surprise, showed a frightening being with limbs like sharp swords moving across the graves. Its skeleton shape produced a veil of darkness that led to a variety of interpretations. Some call it a spirit gone rogue. This frightening and strange-looking creature adds an unnerving layer to the graveyard's atmosphere for both tourists and grave diggers, while some speculate about reincarnation or a Walking Dead scenario. Infant cryptid. A fascinating video from Azerbaijan shows a weird creature that at first glance resembles a kid covered in fur, but closer examination reveals no resemblance to a human. The creature has lustrous hair and hands that resemble human hands with slightly joined fingers, similar to Bigfoot tails. The mystery surrounding it is heightened by conjecture over its identification, with some wondering if it's a baby Bigfoot or the fabled Russian Almasty. The creature's present locations are also unknown. Many people are enticed by the prospect of coming across such an intriguing and enigmatic person after watching the video. The nature and origin of this organism are still unknown. Thus, the search for answers goes on. Black, well-founded devil. A man was out for an early morning job in Ohio when he came across this dark, shadowy figure that was idly sitting in the middle of the trail road. Given the description and nature of this grounded devil, which most of you may be familiar with as being bright red in color and flying, the terrified man kept his distance from it. If you have seen many Hollywood movies, it is safe to say that it is waiting for the make to get closer and jump at. Leaped in the forest. A group of youths were walking through the forest late at night when one of them stopped to take a leap. As he was getting out, the young adult was jumped on by an unidentified figure in the dark, and the incident was partially captured on camera. The noise and panic were so loud that his friends noticed and helped him get back to the car before the perpetrator fled. Although it was too dark to identify the perpetrator, the camera managed to catch a glimpse of it. wood goblin in the woods. A hiker in British Columbia accidentally recorded a unique sighting of a spooky goblin hiding behind bushes under the moonlight forest canopy. She was unaware at the time and was shocked to later find a wood goblin in the footage. The encounter raises questions about what might have happened and whether she could have stayed there longer or noticed its presence. The enigmatic video continues as the subject disappears without a trace, leaving behind a terrifying story about a moonlit woodland with a wood goblin that is hidden among. The Beast of Shadows River. A terrifying creature that was previously written off as a rumor is seen on camera in a river in Uzbekistan. Local fishermen from a secret location feed the eerie creature, which is thought to live in the water, chicken meat. According to legend, in exchange for the offering, the underwater monster permits them to fish in the river. The person who first took a skeptical view of the video decides to accompany the fishermen on an expedition to see the creature, and upon sighting it, he is left speechless. Although he is intrigued to take a closer look, he keeps his distance for obvious reasons. This mysterious creature that lives in rivers still baffles people to this day. Campers are hunted by skinwalkers. Camping may appear like a wonderful way to unwind and enjoy the outdoors, but that's before the night turns into a nightmare. Teenagers chose to go camping in the Michigan forest, but their excursion quickly took a strange turn after nightfall. They heard many growling noises nearby and saw several skinwalkers who appeared to be stalking them from every direction. Guys, wait, run? The party was so afraid that they ran away from the place, leaving all of their camping gear behind. Brute Harry. Its size, strength, and overall uncanny appearance make it harder to believe that it is a man in disguise. In June 2022, a hairy brute encountered a hunter strolling through the Mississippi forest in search of a catch. The hunter, who was armed, was too scared and intimidated by the beast to take any more pictures, much less get any closer. The beast was tearing apart thick tree trunks to build what was likely a house.